Okay, so first out we have
So here we go on the mats. Alice Thompson and Max Ayrton.
A big round of applause.
Any nerves coming out first, Johnny?
I think Max has got quite a straight head. I think he's got one goal, and that goal is to top it. So I think he's going to be cruising this slab, as in the qualifiers there was a fairly tricky slab sort of problem on the squad wall, the new squad wall for highball. And yeah, he just cruised it.
Brilliant. So he's straight off the start. These holes are all quite large, but the areas which are quite good are actually quite small on there. So it's quite deceptive, thinking you've got a lot to play with, but actually you don't.
Yeah, there's definitely like a magic spot on there. So as you can see, the chalk indicates whereabouts more or less the good part of the hold is. If the route setters were to be nasty, they could chalk up the wrong bits. So if they wanted to go for it, they'd miss the good part and have a fall.
As you can see in the picture there, next to Max's hand, the setters have taped around the edge of this volume to try and stop people crimping the positive edge of the hole itself, rather than having to do it properly. Meanwhile,
Alice Thompson.
Alice, straight in.
Yeah, first top of the day.
And that's a good way to open the competition, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
Flash in, get yourself in a positive mood.
Yeah, should be very happy with that.
Point to the bank.
Should be heading straight back into ISO and getting them headphones back in.
Yeah, no wasted effort, like you said there. She'll get plenty of rest before her next problem now.
Yeah. I believe that was a flash.
Very
from
much
Alice.
so, yeah. That's good.
So it's even better.
Max is taking his time here, I think, having a look at the problems. I think he got up and got a little bit confused as to what the best way to come across from the zone onto the penultimate hole was. I've been reliably informed by one of the setters that the feet on this route are pretty shocking.
Yeah.
So the series of 3 chips you can see running across the bulge of the slab, none of them is particularly great.
Yeah, they look very... Well, what's the word, really? There's nothing there.
So this slab is slopes in slightly more than the other slab, which you'll see later on the competition wall, and it has a slight bulge in it. So there's sort of 2 sections to it where you can lean over if you've got the feet for it. As we've seen there, the feet aren't exactly inspiring confidence for Max, I think.
Yeah.
Although now he's had one feel, do you think he'll feel better in future attempts, or do you think he'll try and maybe skip it and go to the second one?
Yeah, I think he'll definitely be starting now to think about it a little bit more and trusting his feet a lot more. But yeah, it's looking good.
Again, you said you've got a level head on him. I think he's got a pretty relaxed head. He doesn't look like he's getting frustrated by not getting anywhere. He knows it's early days, and he's back on.
Yeah, he's got 1 minute 20 left, and he's going to be on it.
Yeah, no trouble getting to the zone. He's quite assured here.
Yeah.
And then just finding what works to come across this narrow balancing section with the terrible feet. Pulling his t-shirt out there to not get it caught on the volume. Oh, there we go, progress.
Nice. Oh, no.
That shows you how fine the balance is there, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, there's really a certain balance point as well. I believe he had his foot on the left chip as well, so I think he'd have to either swap feet or squeeze his other leg round and through. So
yeah, it looked like he was shaping to step through, didn't it? I think?
Yeah.
Which probably what threw him off, I think. Like I said, trying to squeeze the leg through under the balance.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, Max, this is his second big flash. He was here last year, where he made the finals and came 6th. I spoke to him earlier, trying to G him up and insist that the only way was up. But he was having none of it. He was playing it very coy and insisting that whatever happens, he's here to have fun.
Always great to see the contestants always there for everyone, and don't matter what the outcome is, just about having fun.
Exactly. Yeah, a little experimental flick there, moving his right foot to the second chip, but I don't think he fancied it.
Yeah.
I think with the foot out on the second chip, he might be too far to effectively press off the zone. Again, you can see him he's catching his top on the friction of the volume.
Yeah, they look very sticky.
Time up. No send for Max. He returns to isolation. Obviously, he'll now be really focused on the second problem, knowing that, well, depending on how the other 5 males get on with this, that he might have to really sort of pull the stops down on the next one to stay in the game.
Yeah.
So out for the ladies, we have Zoe Petermans, and for the boys, Ty Tewksbury. Ty's out on the mat, and he's had a quick look at the problem, and going straight in. Looking pretty like he's psyched for this route, like he's got his number.
Yeah, he looks very well prepared, I think, the word. Like, he's read it perfect already. So he's got to the zone.
Yeah, again, no problems off the start.
No.
Yeah, as we watch, so we're gonna throw down to Liam, who's down at wall side, as we see Zoe Peterman's making progress up F1.
So Zoe's up to the zone hold, as is Ty.
Hey, so as you can see now, we've got Ty Tewksbury and Zoe Peterman's on the slab. Oh, Ty with those very, very poor footholds, just losing his right foot there. And you can see Zoe Peterman's at the far back side of the wall, moving up on those slopers. Very difficult position to be in, but easily cruising to that. And there's the top in control. Nice work from both of those athletes there. So we'll have to see now if Ty can put it together, make his way to the top.
Great work from Zoe there. Again, another flash, slightly slower than Alice, but still very assured. She took her time going up things. She returns to isolation. Meanwhile, Ty is encountering similar problems to Max on this Trixie Blue.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty harsh battle with the feet.
So here we can get a closer view of those feet, and they're ever so slight pebbles with a dual texture ring around them. So
yeah, got to be super precise with the foot placement. As you can just see, just slipped.
Perfect. Those sort of dual texture ones as well, they force you to stand on one bit, which then often you feel that sort of the pain in your toe of having to put all the pressure at one place.
Yeah, that's awful feel.
But again, this is becoming a bit of a running theme so far. That M1 is quite straightforward to start, and the zone is almost a gimme. But then cracking across to the second of the large squarer blue pill volumes.
Yeah, as you can see, the blue pill holds are very sloped. There's not much on them whatsoever. And the undercut after the zone looks even worse.
I suspect he's probably going to try something very similar to Max here. Oh, he's gone to the second foothold.
Yeah.
Tell a lie.
Nice.
So he's trying to bridge it out. And he's going straight through.
Oh, yes.
Oh, nice pop. Great work. First top for the men.
Very impressive.
Everyone in the back will have heard that.
Yeah.
And know that Ty is now in the game.
And the fact he's come back a minute early, they'll all know that the fact he's just topped that. So.
And with a minute to spare, so he gets quite a good rest.
Yeah.
So the brushing team's hard at work out here, keeping the holds fresh for all the climbers. They'll be concentrating on the holds that are getting the use the most and the ones that are most critical for the routes. So coming out from isolation now, we have Jim Pope for the men, Pope on a rope, and Jennifer Wood, who could be one of the leading contenders. We're not quite sure.
Yeah.
Has the pedigree for it.
Yeah, definitely has the skill and strength to just cruise this comp.
Again, Jim straight on. He seems to have taken the number of the route straight off. He's trying something slightly different here. He's not putting the heel into the start hold. Others, but it's working for him. Oh, I lied. I talked him up.
Yeah.
Commentator's curse.
So that puts Jim currently at the bottom because he didn't get the zone on the first attempt. I believe Max and Ty both got the zone on the
Sorry
first
to cut
attempt.
you off, Johnny, but there we go. Jen's straight up F1 as well. Ladies are making much easier work of their opening route than the boys, it seems.
Yeah, that will definitely bring nerves into the girls when she walks straight back in.
Yeah, under a minute. That was quick.
Yeah.
There we go. So Max has made it to the zone, but not on his first attempt, as you said.
Yeah. Onto them awful feet.
Although we're not getting to see much of it because the ladies are flying up the first route, their route does actually change pitch in the middle. There's two different types of overhang. But here we go. Jim's gone with the same feet that Ty did as well. He stepped straight down to the second one.
Yeah.
But then he's being a bit more step up, I think.
Yeah, Ty put his left foot straight through to the third chip.
Oh, look at that.
I think Jim's now trying to bump his right again. Nice.
Oh, good core tension and easy. A less dynamic finish, but a finish nonetheless.
Yeah.
Top to top.
Very much so.
Definitely in this stage of the game as well. Although everyone would like to flash it. Getting up.
Yeah.
So now, I'd say the first of the really big names for the men comes out. We have Nathan Phillips, and on the screen now we have your pick for the win, Miss Joni.
Yeah, I think she's looking very strong at the minute, especially when I saw her in the semi-finals. She was...
the in-house commentary has just announced this is Dave Barons and not Nathan Phillips. That's what the little grin was from Nathan there, he heard it. Not the most similar looking people, but obviously Nathan is the form competitor this year, but you never know what's going to get thrown up. Again, straight up into the zone.
Making easy work at the start again.
And it's easy to say that he didn't qualify at the top because he might have been saving his energy, playing it tactical, or he might have just not liked the problems in the qualifiers. We're not quite sure. Either way, he's in the final, and he seems to be going well at the start.
Yeah, very much so.
Over on the ladies, your pick, Joni, tops the problem.
Yeah, I believe that was a flash again. So girls are making easy work of the red.
They're 4 for 4. Nathan
Yeah.
grinding along steadily. A little rechalk. First of them we've seen this evening. Oh, look at that. He's had no trouble.
Yeah, Nathan's put his foot on the first chip, which all the other climbers didn't.
Oh,
Oh, he slipped. Oh, no.
So close.
Yeah.
Saw the foot ping off there, but he briefly held it.
Yeah.
But he couldn't carry the momentum
Thought
through.
he was going to pull it straight back in and stay on. Very impressive either way.
So also, as well as having had a great year in the British Bouldering Championships and in the World Bouldering events, Nathan has won 3 of the 4 previous big flashes, and in the other one he was second. So this is pretty much his event. The only other person to have won here is Dave Barons.
Yeah.
And on all the years that Nathan won, apart from last year, Dave Barons was second. So here's the replay of Joni springing up to top F1.
Easy work at that
Looking
finish.
very confident.
Yeah.
Quick look to the judges, make sure they're happy with her finish. I think F1, I wouldn't be surprised to see everyone get F1 as a bit of a welcome to the event. Whereas the boys are being started with something a bit more testy. Obviously, all the competitors are going to face a variety of routes across the competition, both on different pitches of the wall and different problems have been set.
Let's get behind him. Come on, Nathan. You've got this.
Yeah, so Nathan's still grinding away. I think he'll...
Nice, make him move all the way to the penultimate hold. Bringing his chip foot through the
There we
chips.
go, I think he's
There
got
we
this
go,
now, hasn't he?
easy, yeah. Nice, come on.
Oh, so casual, so soft. And a little step up at the end.
Yeah. Going with, I think, the correct foot sequence, I guess, that the setters intended. So, yeah, setters will be happy.
It's very easy when you see 3 in a row to assume it is right, left, right. But it might not always be, like you say, it might be step out, come in, step out further. I think there's still some miscommunication with the in-house commentators. This is not Matt Cousins, that's Dave Barons for the boys, and Ida Remska for the ladies. Obviously, because the ladies are making such short work of F1, we are getting a lot more camera time of the boys on M1, but expect this to change throughout the evening as we start hitting problems which may cause more trouble for the men and less trouble for the ladies. Again, no one's been hanging around at the start on M1, have they?
No, they're jumping straight back on it, which is always cool to see. And I guess the viewing time at the start also helps. They've got it fresh in the mind and they're ready to pull hard, or balance hard.
So again, Ida's made short work of the first half of F1, straight into the zone, and looking comfortably as she heads up into the penultimate holds. A little bit of body balance there. And pop to the finish. Again, great work for the ladies. We're now 5 for 5, ladies. Oh, and Dave's encountered a little problem of trying to stretch across.
Yeah.
But it's often the case that the first attempt is a bit of a feeling out process, isn't it? And once you get the feel of maybe the crux move or the move that's causing a bit of beef, you then find on second attempt you're much more prepared for it, and you can go through it quite quickly.
Yeah, I personally find the first go will either more or less be the best go, but I guess when you're in such a big competition like this, you really want to be try and make the most of the time and trying to take your time.
That's a good point. It's important to make best use of your time rather than necessarily to rush. You do have a lot of time comparatively to use it. It's only when you get down to sort of 30 seconds or so when you've not done the route that then you might need to start turning on the speed. But at this stage, when Dave's got over 2 minutes left, he'll know that, and he'll know that although he wants to get it in as many as few attempts as he can, he does have time to go through the route steadily and spend time up there adjusting and feeling out the holds, how they go.
Oh, yes.
Oh, look at that strength. That's why Big Dave's my man for the win. Great stuff.
Nice.
Little smile. He knows he got away with that one there.
Easy work for that finish. That's awesome.
The brushing team closes in again, trying to make the most or make the zone for the men as quick as possible. None of the holes have proved too much of a problem on F1, so although they are brushing them as is the way. So now Matt Cousins comes out for the boys. Alongside Hannah Slaney. So Hannah missed last year here when Michaela Tracy ran away with the female side of things. But the year before that, she put in a very strong performance. Oh yeah, look at that, you can see on Dave's face.
The joy.
That was a near miss and he knows it.
Yeah.
But yes, in previous years, Hannah Slaney did come here and she qualified first, was first in the semis, and then was pipped in the finals that year by Alexia Bash.
Yeah.
There you go, Matt straight up to the zone. No worries, now he's... he might have read this right first time, he's gone straight for the long foot hold.
Yeah, Hannah Slaney on the zone now also.
Cruising, I think is the term. And Matt's cruising as well, in fact.
Oh, easy flash. Nice.
Yeah. I think both of these two are showing why they were first through the semis there.
Yeah.
There we go. Both of the first place qualifiers topping their, flashing their routes even in under a minute.
Yeah.
This brings M1 and F1 to a close. Quick replay of Hannah here. Again, you can see she looks absolutely comfortable. None of these holes are causing a problem. Spending time to look around and straight up into the finish. With this coverage, this brings our time with Joni Golder to an end. Joni, thank you for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
I hope all goes well for you. And enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you. You too.
So while we're waiting for the promenade to shift on thing, I'm going to be joined here by the wonderful Storm Biggs. Good evening, Storm. Thank you for joining me. We're just in time to watch Alice Thompson and Max Ayrton come out and try M2 and F2 respectively.
Yes, it is.
Obviously F2 is going to be a much more, it's a dynamic start into a bit of a burly top section.
Now that's an entrance.
Whereas M2 is an incredibly balancy, or it starts really burly and then goes into balance later on. So two very contrasting routes here. It's great to have you along as a...
Oh, thank you.
Give us an insight into what's different about me, or what's different, it's an insight into ladies competition.
I mean, I haven't competed myself for a little while, but I think this is one of the best comps that you can go to.
Oh, wonderful flattery. It's great to have you here. Also, I do remember you competing in past years.
Yes.
But right now, Alice is rather wrestling with the zone for the finish.
Yeah, she's making good progress.
You hear the crowd behind him. He tries to crank this heel on and get the knee clear of
So
the
close.
undercut.
Oh.
In amongst all that excitement, Max managed to stretch himself to the finish.
Oh.
But again, he was making quite calm work of that while we were watching all the excitement here.
Yep.
As you can see, the roof section where it cuts out is causing problems for where the leg wants to be.
Yeah, the leg gets stuck under the roof.
And you end up doing a slightly shifty alpine knee, kicking the leg out as you try and get yourself up. I suspect, though, that given how well she did there...
Yeah, that's only a first go. I think she'll be fine.
Alice will be back in and up that. Obviously, all the ladies make short work of F1.
Yeah.
Which means they'll all be feeling quite buoyed, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's nice when you do well on the first one. It makes you feel good.
Success is always, like I say, yeah. It's good to get in the, you're in the race then, don't you?
Yeah.
If you get shut down too early.
I think facing out like that for a jump is quite a scary start for a route.
What may not be immediately apparent at home is facing out of that, they may also have to contend with a lot of the lighting.
Yeah, that's true.
And activity in the crowd.
People staring at them.
Yes, so we very easily get distracted, and not exactly catch the hold in the way you want and exert too much energy trying to pull your body back in.
Right, back on the zone.
All these green volumes are brand new for this event.
Okay.
So a lot of the sand, they're very, very coarse on the hands in places. They're real sandpaper texture to them.
I'm sure they're thankful for that right now, but maybe not later.
Yes. And if you were to slip on these, you are going to know about it. Oh! She's trying something different here, isn't she? Trying to pop the foot clear.
Oh. Imagine this one saps quite a lot of energy.
There wasn't a huge amount of dynamic problems for the ladies in the qualifiers or the semis.
No, not really. They've saved it.
Yes. Obviously, this does look, apart from the starting position and the orientation,
yeah,
it does look like it's quite a gentle dyno.
Yeah.
But you do still have to turn around and go into this burly top section.
Definitely.
Obviously, you've competed and climbed alongside some of these ladies.
Yes.
We asked for Joni's picks earlier on.
Yep.
Do you have any inklings to who you would back to win this?
I think Hannah looks pretty strong this year, so I reckon she's got a good shout.
And obviously, no bias at all, but who are you favouring for the boys?
No bias at all, but I do think it's Matt's chance to win this year.
There we go. Great stuff. So the fact she's taking a slightly longer time to... oh, I tell you, I missed the change over there. Forgive me while we're talking. Out for the ladies, Zoe Petermans. And over on the boys, we have Ty Tewksbury. So you can see, this start is pretty rough for the boys. It's really birdy. And the aim is to get up on top of the green volumes and then gently tiptoe across to the finish.
Yeah, there's not a lot of conventional pulling on this.
So you can see how this started all little shift trying to get the body round that first volume and get up onto it. Oh, knee on the volume.
There's not a single hold on this route.
There's a rather infamous top hole which anyone who climbs here locally will recognise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the massive core hot volume. Universally treated with a bit of a snort of derision, I think. It's good because it's practical, but it's never easy.
Yep.
I'm wondering if Ty might have gone a bit far over here. Yes, he's coming back. So he can actually shift his weight off that upright grey volume. There we go, he makes it to the zone.
Okay.
Right now, the join in the walls you can see there, folks, is both walls slope away. So although he's got his hand on that wall, it's not ideal. He'll get a certain amount of pressure on it.
It's not going to give him enough.
No, he won't want to do a huge amount on it. And as you get to the top, it will start to run away from you.
He's so close.
Oh, he's in a tall man, this, isn't he?
Yep, he is.
There we go, counterbalance with the foot. Two-hand touch, check the judge, they're good with it. And he's off. Meanwhile, Zoe is up north of the roof.
Yep.
On F2.
Can she stick the last move?
She's having the same issue, I think, of having to stick the foot on. You see how...
Here she is.
There we go. Recovered from her near miss. And you can see even the start she had a near miss. The catch wasn't the smoothest. As we were saying with Joni, a top's a top.
A top is a top, yeah.
As long as you're inside the rules, you'll take it. So coming out, we have Jim Pope and Jen Wood. I hope she won't mind me calling her Jen rather than Jennifer.
No, she won't mind.
So, again, we've asked for Joni's opinion, but I'm going to ask your opinion as well.
Yep.
What's it like being in the back when you're waiting to go out and you can hear the crowd cheering and you know that one of your competitors has topped the route? Problem even, my gosh.
There's definitely a lot of pressure. I think like everyone deals with it differently. Like some people just are in their zone with their headphones on. Some people quite like to listen and kind of feel for what's actually going on. So, yeah, it's pretty nerve-wracking. Probably not for these guys, though. Seasoned professionals.
There you go, Jen's made the catch on the dyno while Jim is wrestling through this start.
I think Jim's got some pretty good endurance, so he can stay on this for a while.
Well, we've already seen him re-chalk once, even though he's only just been on the wall. There we go, going again for more re-chalking.
Route climber.
So he's happy to lock himself in. Jen has cleared the roof on F2 and has now got the troublesome heel hook in.
Making short work of that.
And she's up. Oh, no worries. So Jen stays in the game on the top. And
Jim's still
got himself
on.
up.
Yep.
So he's through the burly section. And now it becomes the balancy, getting your body in position.
Yeah.
Don't want to see too many dirty drop knees tonight. There's certain regulars who are a bit overly fond of them.
Oh, really?
But whatever works, I suppose, to get you up the wall.
Yeah, I can't say I'm too fond of drop knees myself.
Well, that's clearly because you have good taste, Storm. Great taste. There we go. I think now, from this point on for the boys,
Yeah.
I think it's just a case of being quite careful and
Yeah,
not doing
definitely.
anything crazy. I think everyone in here has got this in them, as long as they're very high hand on that back wall.
Just teetering up.
I suspect everyone, with the exception of maybe Dave Barons, is going to tall man this and just reach out
Ooh,
on
I
two
don't
fingers.
know.
Oh, look, I've been proved wrong straight away. What do I know?
Yeah,
Great work.
I think Dave, Jim, and Matt are all pretty much the same height now,
Oh,
so it'll
right.
be quite interesting.
Here's a replay of Jen cracking the top.
Oh wow.
See, she just cranked up.
Yeah,
the
no
foot still
trouble.
hanging, yeah. That shows she really trusted her left hand on the volume to close off into a lock like that. Nonchalantly off the mats there.
Yep.
So next out is Joni's pick for the win on the ladies' side, Joni,
Okay.
and joined by Nathan Phillips for the boys. Obviously, yes, Joni's pick as Joe was quite caught Liam by surprise.
Really?
Quite the dark horse, I think. But she did qualify third from the semis, so
Yeah. She's a really impressive climber.
I think we'll see a lot of this shimming around and adjusting at the start of M2.
Yeah. I think Nathan's quite good at this sort of awkward style, so I'm sure he'll be fine.
As we discussed previously, he is having quite the year.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, incredible results.
And there's Joe,
Oh,
firmly up. Let's see what she goes here. Heels going on. And what's she going to do with the trailing leg? Oh, matching the left volume.
wow.
Almost frogging in.
Completely static.
No worries, there we go. Maybe there's something in Johnny's pick. Great work by Joe. She's also, I know, being very sure. She's constantly looking over to make sure the judges are clearing her tops.
Yeah.
I don't know if this means she got bitten by something in the qualies or the
I think
or
a lot of
semis.
people have been bitten by that before, so it's best to check, I think.
So,
Nathan's still on.
oh, he's going much higher using the back volume.
Yeah.
But I suspect he's going to be able to drop this straight into the press on the back wall and bring the back leg out. So the wall, the green volumes are mounted
See
on
there,
there.
crimping the back of the volume.
Anything that works.
Yep.
So unlike the blue pill volumes we saw on M1,
Yep.
these volumes haven't been taped off around the edges.
No,
So it is game to do that if you want to.
if you want to put your fingernails in the back.
I think this means the setters have decided that doing that doesn't give you any more
Yeah.
advantage than actually
Yeah,
holding
definitely.
the corners of the triangle where you can see the rest of the chalk is. There we go.
You're right, they're reaching up.
No, lots of success earlier. This is good. This means
Yeah.
that no one's going to be dropped out in the race too early.
No, exactly.
And
It's fun to watch as well.
Yes, very much so.
Dave Barons.
So the third set of competitors coming up. Fifth set of competitors even. My gosh, I'm losing it. Ida Remska for the ladies
Yep.
and Big Dave Barons for the boys.
Yep, Dave's climbed really well this weekend, so
I don't know a great deal about Ida Remska, but I do know she was Adidas Rockstars this year.
yes, yeah. I think she's on the Slovenian climbing team.
Oh, rightio, there we go. So you've done your research, your homework here. But that
Yeah.
enough to tell me that she's
Very
pretty
strong.
handy. So then he's straight through the dyno at the start, as Dave probably makes quite easy work, it seems, with that opening
Yeah.
section. I don't know if that's a height dependency thing or just the fact he's really strong.
It's probably that he's just really good.
A little bit of both. He's staying much lower than Nathan did here.
Yeah.
Whilst
Oh.
Ida is demolishing F2.
Nicely
Another
done.
top. Dave again being quite casual, making the most of his time, knowing he's
Yeah.
quite stable there. As I was saying previously, the wall those green volumes are mounted on is actually a straight vert.
Yeah, it
because
looks like a slab on this kind of image, but it's not.
So because the volumes are so large
Yeah.
and the angle on the tops is gentle enough,
Yeah.
it is possible to just stand up on top of them, as we're seeing the boys try and do. So yeah, Dave has eschewed the back wall press,
Yep.
and is coming across using much more of the volumes,
Took his time, and he's done it.
and finished on the big dirty core hole. Showing a lot of emotion, Dave. Meanwhile, again, Ida matched the left-hand volume
Yeah.
above the zone.
Our next new climbers we are rattling through.
Straight up,
Slaney and Matt
little grin,
Cousins.
and the match. Our final set of competitors are out, with Matt Cousins and Hannah Slaney. Obviously, coming into these events, there was always the worry that the people who are in form might just run away with things.
Yep, yeah.
But the fact that Matt outdid Dave and Nathan in the semis
Yep.
shows that he's not a shabby climber himself.
Yeah, it's always a tough fight between the three of them, which I think they all really like. So
I think going back over the past few years, with the exception of the very first Big Flash, the top three here have always been in some combination.
Yep, three of
Nathan,
them.
Dave and Matt.
Yep.
And obviously Matt hasn't yet occupied the top spot.
I know.
So this could be his year. Maybe he's the one who wants it most.
I think he does.
He's flown through the start much quicker than anyone else. And Hannah has made similarly short work of the dyno at the start of F2.
Quickly done.
Great work.
Yeah.
Oh, a little wave for the crowd. He's feeling good. And Hannah also smashed her problem.
Yeah, no surprises there.
So we are great.
We are now moving on to M3 and F3.
So we move on to F3 and M3. So this is going to be a change of pace, and we're shifting to the older half of the comp ball here. This is what the original comp ball was before it was expanded down. As we see Hannah comfortably making the top on F2. Again, a little grin to the crowd. Feeling good, 2 from 2. So Max and Alice back out again.
It's like quite a dynamic start on men's 3.
Yeah, these routes are very opposite.
Yeah.
The M3 being this dyno into Burley, and then F3 being the sort of the now ubiquitous triangle volumes on a slab. Max taking his first splat on the dyno there. It is a bit of a combination move as well for the boys. In the one and the catch is actually in the zone, isn't it?
Yep, yeah.
And there's not a lot on the lower one. Alice has comfortably got to the zone. Obviously, I think this is where the tricksy bit comes.
Yeah,
getting
definitely.
up through this section with that big volume in your stomach.
Kind of pushing up into that small volume there.
This is the second of the slabs on the comp ball, and this one is slightly shallower than the bulge we saw in M1. But it's also consistent the whole way up, and the way you can see her feet are, is there's a pitch change, so the feet there will be really positive. But then what you can do with these grey volumes to get up through them is another matter.
Yeah, I'm not sure where she's going to put her foot next, but...
Max taking a substantial break on M3. That was quite a bounce he took. You almost suspect he wasn't expecting to fall off. Oh, and it sprung at the finish there.
She's got plenty of time.
Here we go for Max again.
Here we go.
Bang, bang. And he holds it. Oh, a bit of a punt. He'll feel that in the toe, smashing the wall like that. But not right now because the adrenaline's flowing.
Oh.
Again, more of these big blue pill holes that are deceptive, and although they're very big, there's not a great deal on them. There's a tiny chip down by the E in competition wall, if you can see it, folks at home, where the wall changes elevation. It's not a lot to go on, but hopefully it's enough. Comfortable for Max. And the match. Yeah, it's a good recovery. Like, so that bump he took on the first one, it didn't look like he was expecting not to hold it.
No.
And with a bit of a full body splat to the mat.
Back up on the slab as well.
And it's right back where she was.
Yep.
I think she shifted her grip to, she's more sort of side guppying, trying to get the undercling on that, and then thrust up into it, I should imagine. The volume on her right foot is quite shallow, the angle she's at, so I think you need to get high on that to get anything off it.
Yeah, definitely. You need to trust your foot for that one.
Although it is going to feel horrid getting into position.
Come on, Alice.
Okay.
Got there's that penultimate hold. Come on.
One move left. Yep.
She goes one hand on.
Ah.
And that's it. Well done. Yes.
Great work by Alice. I think she'll be pleased with that because there's quite a lot of work clearing the top half.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to fall off that too many times. It takes quite a long time to get back up there.
Okay, so next out, we have Zoe
As the
Peterman,
next
Ty
competitors,
Tewksbury.
Ty Tewksbury and Zoe Peterman's come out, we're going to quickly throw down to Liam Lonsdale and see what's going on wall side.
So, Ty Tewksbury and Zoe Peterman are about to get involved on men's 3 and women's 3. We've already seen some spectacular action on men's and women's 1 and 2. Matt Cousins cruising number 2. It's definitely the big 3 in the men's competition that's looking like the top contenders right now. Hannah Slaney, dominant so far. Joni showing incredible lock strength on that top move on women's 2. Definitely one to watch there as well. I'm going to cut back to those guys. We don't want to distract too much from the action. Everything to play for so far. Giles?
Thanks, Liam. Great stuff. So Zoe's, again, made short work at the start of F3, just as Ty has caught his dyno. So it's all going well for these two so far. I believe it was.
Very impressive.
Although the time elapsed, I can't imagine. Maybe we missed a go whilst we were all eyes on Zoe.
Oh, just lost the feet there.
But that does tell us that it's not all over once you catch the dyno,
No.
as can be the case sometimes.
Zoe's on the zone.
Oh, trying the bolt hole there.
Yep.
Desperation calls. So some of the problems on the have actually had the major bolt holes plugged.
Yeah, yeah. So you can't stick your thumb in to kind of get a bit more. Stuck the jump again.
So here we Ty made a bit of a lunge at the finish there, and it's come a cropper. But I fancy that maybe next go he'll get it.
Yeah.
Whilst
just needs to set the feet, and he'll be fine, I'm sure.
Zoe is just really chalky. She tries to get to grip with this pseudo undercling and get away up into between the big volume and the smaller one to her left.
Yeah. I think she's been on this problem for over a minute now, so I'm sure she's looking forward to getting to the top.
And I think because the lower foothold she's come off is quite generous,
yeah.
I think that it's not as tiring as it could be otherwise.
Yep.
Yeah, up to that penultimate hole.
But the penultimate hole isn't quite as generous as she was hoping for.
No.
So the undercling, you see there doing all the work until she can reposition her weight to take it comfortably on both hands. Nice.
Here we go.
And a little pop to the finish. Great stuff.
Great job. Come on.
And Ty just popped off the top as well. So
yeah.
yes. I think you were right in saying that after being on the route for that long, the problem, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She'll be very happy to have topped that and not wasted all that energy and have to do it again. So here we see Ty a minute ago. And he popped. Oh. I suspect he might have to try and use that dreadful chip he's trying to avoid.
Yeah, I think he might need that foot. I hope he's seen the foot.
No, he's quite hidden. It's a good point, actually. It can be very easy to miss, concentrating all the big holes. But he seems stoked. He's flying back on the wall. He's got the bottom section dialed in.
Yeah,
into
definitely.
the zone.
Got that down.
Yeah, it's comfy.
Okay, he's looking at it. There we go.
Oh.
Maybe that crimp isn't quite as good as the others have made it look.
I suspect that foothold is also similar to the ones on M1 in their non-existence. Oh, well, it's there, but it's not giving you much more than a point of stability.
Yeah.
He made that dyno move all day.
He's got time if he wants to.
Great to see him get to the top.
Of course he does.
Go on, Ty.
Because we are using the minutes plus system here,
yeah.
he does potentially have time if he slips off again to get on.
Yeah.
And the start on this is quite comfortable, so he could afford to get on and re-short.
Here he
But hopefully
goes.
he's not going to miss it as he digs in. You see him trying to release that back leg.
Oh, just can't quite trust that foothold.
I think you're also very accurate in saying that maybe the crimp isn't quite as good. I had assumed that was a half decent hold, and that would do most of the work at the finish.
Oh, he's going to go for one more go.
See him eyeing the clock there, and he pounces on with a second to spare. Very James Bond. And that shows you the fighting spirit. He's not giving up.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, oh, crowd are roaring for him. They want him to get it as much as. Oh, not to be. Ty knows he gave out the beans. Coming out, we have Jen Wood and Jim Pope to attack these very, very different types of route. Problem, I've got to start saying route. You've got to stop me on this. There are boulders everywhere screaming at me.
Yeah, probably.
Jim's having a good old look at that zone hold, trying to work out how the catch goes.
Yep.
Here we go. You can always see people approaching dives with a bit more oomph.
Eyeing up the jump now.
To the right of Jen over there, you can see a black line down the wall. That's pretty there as a precaution, but it's also there to stop climbers using certain bits of wall. Because off to the right there is a small bit of vertical wall which can be used to sort of climb in like a chimney fashion.
Oh, okay, definitely slipped off the crimp that time.
Yeah, Jim Pope also having trouble with the crimp at the top there. The brushes are going to work on it, but it may be that because it's quite narrow, it's more sort of a heat and a grease problem rather than chalk. As Jen is up on the zone in the same position, trying to get some height to use the undercling.
Yeah, slow and steady on the slab.
And again, we can see comfy on that left foot with the undercling, so you can plenty of time to re-chalk. I think she might also tentatively had a poke at the bolt hole on top of that volume a minute ago, but decided against it.
She might, yeah.
Okay, she's up to the penultimate hole. Come on, Jen. Come on, Jen.
She's testing her weight, finding what works. I mean, it's one of... Oh, I spoke too soon. Just no, straight through it.
There we are.
Yeah, there we go. Easy, well done, Jen. Straight up there. Fantastic stuff.
Jim stuck the jump again.
Comfortably into the zone and up to the next. Quick pat on his leg for some chalk for the crimp.
Yes,
good catch.
Got a
Feet on and
match.
the
There we
match.
go.
So I think we're getting from this at the top is quite good for one hand, but it pulls your body out of position. So once you get up there, as long as you latch it firmly, I think that all the boys here are capable of holding that one-handed.
With a bit of a swing, yeah.
And if need be, there is the vert wall to the left that they can keep the foot on.
Yep.
That's good. Coming out next, Joni and Nathan Phillips. Eyeing the clock. Clock runs and they're off. So Joe is slightly shorter than some of the other lady competitors. Do you think that'll be an issue on this with the height of the undercling compared to the good foothold lower down?
I mean, I don't think it will make a massive difference for her. Like, I think she's got good footwork. She'll trust the volume enough to kind of push her weight into the undercut.
That's a lesson for you at home, folks. Quality will overcome physical differences.
That's what I like to tell myself.
Absolutely, I'm with you on that, 100%.
Nathan's up already.
Yeah, he's blasting through the start section. Onto the dodgy crimp, foot out for the little dodgy chip. Releasing the weight looks like quite a catch, but Nathan, not an issue.
It's definitely very much a comp style boulder, that one.
There we go, great work from Nathan.
F3,
here we go, Joe's in the section I was concerned about for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's got it as an undercut now.
So once she kicks up, yeah, she'll be fine. And then just get steady here, get the balance from the weight where the weight's trying to go right, find the little bit of the volume that works for you, and they're all rushing straight through this. Oh no, she stopped steadily. The high foot into the good finish. Great work. We're having a lot of success here, so
yeah, a lot of tops.
This may all come down to the last block.
Yeah.
But before that, we do have more competitors coming out for F3 and M3. So Ida Remska and Dave Barons comes out. You'd fancy, although I don't want to talk up anything, you'd fancy that with many of the competitors who qualified lower than these two completing the problems, these two will also be able to get through them.
Yeah, you expect that to happen.
But, like I say, a small slip, one attempt more, two attempts more, and all of a sudden balance shifts. I think quite importantly, although again it's not evident from home, is that the temperature dropped quite a lot during the course of today compared to the qualifiers and the semis. The qualifiers especially were incredibly humid, so friction was at a premium. Nice from Dave, straight in. And Ida grinding up through the triangle grey volumes. Oh, big
got the heel on.
Dave looks like a man on a mission here.
Zone hold already.
Oh, the right hand just went.
Oh, the look on his face tells you all there.
Gutted.
He also took a slightly different approach there. You noticed his right foot, he kept it on the volume and dragged the toe up rather than cutting it off completely and sort of hanging the weight on the crimp.
Yeah, maybe he thinks that last hold's a bit worse than it is.
Oh, there we go. So Dave has actually added chalk onto one of the brushes, which means that crimp must be getting a bit greasy and a bit damp from heat of other people's hands.
Yeah, and the heat of the light, probably.
Meanwhile, Ida up through the zone onto the penultimate, and you'd fancy the top from here.
Yep. Easily done.
Wonderful work. Dave just blowing on his fingers and shaking the right hand out.
Taking his time.
I think that ping off, everyone who's climbed will have had one of those where you ping off and your hand just lashes shut and you can feel everything vibrate inside.
He knows he's got plenty of time left.
Straight back in, making all the moves with quite a lot of purpose here. He knows he's got this in him.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be a little frustrated that he dropped it last time.
I'm sure he will.
Oh, there we go. He was ready for it that time.
Interesting, catching with the right hand.
I mean, that shows the point you picked up on very early, that the crimp clearly isn't as good as the first two made it look. And Dave was expecting to lose it there, and instead just went with the flow and put the brakes on using the side of that big blue pill volume.
Yeah, 2 left.
Yeah, look at that. Looked comfy doing it. Into the finish. So although he'll be a little bit frustrated at drop, he'll be glad he got it back straight next time, so no more wasted effort. So Matt Cousins for the boys, and Hannah Slaney for the ladies. Hannah always smiling Slaney.
She really is.
She's so chirpy.
She loves competing, I think.
Great. I hope she does keep doing well. She had a fantastic year as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Between British Bouldering and the Youth World Cup.
Yep.
I think as long as she keeps going, she'll be a wonderful ambassador for the sport with her attitude.
Yeah, I think so. It's nice to see people who really enjoy themselves.
Obviously, that's not to say that those who are a little more quiet or keep themselves are bad in any way.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have someone who is doing well and is willing to share their love for the sport. It makes it easy, I think, for other people to get into climbing when they see people who, like I say, are having so much fun doing what they're doing.
Matt's campusing on the blue.
Yeah, a little bit, well, I don't want to say showboat, I think that'd be unfair of me, but he's definitely making this look quite straightforward. Oh.
And that crimp again is proving to be quite a problem.
Same. To be fair, he cut with a little less force than Dave did, so I suspect he might be able to hold that if now he's expecting it to happen without having to slap into the side of the blue pill.
Yep.
Re-chalking at quite an odd position there, but she obviously feels comfy enough to do it.
You'll rarely see Hannah making something look too difficult.
A very smooth climber.
There she is on the penultimate hold.
There we go, standing upright. So
There we are.
So she really trusted that penultimate there, standing that high on it. That's confidence in her grip. I didn't manage to get her on our grip gauntlet that we're running here this weekend. I suspect she'd be quite good on a few of them.
I'm sure she would.
No, again, go with the campuser, Matt. Who needs feet? Louis Parkinson's here in spirit. Oh, you could see that the psyche he was putting into that pool.
Yeah, he was ready for it, and
he
then it
almost
just
pulled
pinged
himself off
yeah.
rather than throwing himself up the wall. Yeah, all the tools are coming out. Look at this. You can see he sets himself. Bang!
Yeah, Matt's not known for having the best skin in the game.
No, he's taking charge of the brushing himself. I think he did what Dave did, yes. He's dipped the brush in his chalk bucket. So it's less the build-up of chalk and more just actually trying to put some friction in there. When he gets up there with hot hands himself, like say the holds hot under the lights, give himself the best chance.
Yeah, loads of time for a few more goes if he wants to.
Obviously he'll want to do it in as few goes as possible, but I think at this stage everyone's still in the game.
Yep.
And here we go. Oh, look at that. That's a big wide open. He was comfortable with that all the way up.
Yep. No troubles with the jump now.
Huge amount of strength there. Come on, Matt.
He'll be really pulling on that crimp now.
Here he
having
goes.
come up twice. You can see him looking at it.
Yep.
Oh. He's so close.
Hands on the last hole, but not quite.
Quick glance at the clock. He knows how much time he's got. I suspect we'll see 2 more goes here. I think he'll have 1 more and try and leave himself enough time for the pile
if it
on in a
doesn't
few
go,
seconds.
then yeah.
Well, hopefully it will. You're right.
Hopefully
You're right to have
it
optimism
will.
there.
It's got the pressure of knowing, I think, that the few people before him have already done it, so.
There we go. So he's gone with 20 seconds more. I think, should he not make it, he might have time to jump straight back on.
Yeah, he's getting up there fast.
Yeah, he's definitely going at pace this time as well, isn't he? The crowd are with him. Taking the foot off. 4 seconds left. Come on, Max. He's going for it. He's going for it. Oh! Dino onto the start hold.
Somehow made it on.
Oh, quick re-chalk here. You saw him reaching for his chalk bucket. He saw the clock and bailed, ran for it. Great work.
It's a good job he's carrying that chalk bag with him.
Jammed himself in the corner. He's having his rest here.
He's using his head there.
Just leaning into the wall, taking as much stress as he can off, saving the arms. Because he is campusing most of the route.
Yeah,
I suppose it doesn't matter if he ties the legs too much. There we go, he's giving himself up, back in the actual start position.
Yeah, come on, Matt.
And the crowd are firmly behind him now. We're deep into extra time, so to speak.
Here he goes. This is it.
He's up. He'll be giving it everything on that crimp.
Yeah, go on, Matt.
There'll be no half crimps here. Oh! Ran out of juice.
Yep, definitely.
Right. He goes to the back, but obviously knowing that M4 and F4, or M4 for him, may be quite spicy.
Yeah, definitely. I think M4 looks pretty tricky, so we'll see.
So he'll be giving it everything on this.
I'm sure he will.
Storm, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Yep, thank you very much.
I don't know whether we'll see you competing again, but hopefully we'll see you here again.
Maybe. We'll see.
Great stuff.
Thank you.
We're throwing down to Liam now to have a little chat about Matt Cousins himself.
I'm kind of almost speechless. That was so close for Matt Cousins. He got to that last hold 4 times and with less than 2 seconds on the clock managed to throw himself into that groove and just calm himself down before that 4+ final attempt. Really big shame for Matt Cousins not to get the top there, but that is competitions. And from where I was stood just here, I could really see his face as he was crimping that last hold on his final attempt. He really didn't have anything left. Amazing effort there from Matt Cousins and all the athletes. It all comes down to this final boulder. Sit tight, let's see who's going to win.
So here we are back out for M4 and F4 with Max Ayrton for the boys and Alice Thompson for the ladies. Storm Biggs has left us, and I've been joined by Tim Hill from Beta Setting. Good evening, Tim. Good to have you back.
Good, yeah. The third year in a row, so
third year,
making
indeed.
a habit of it.
Involved in the sponsors, involved in every aspect. You're the Vertical Life Climbing app. It's good to have you here, as Max has made short work of the bulk of this route. But I think this that penultimate volume isn't the best for the move you need to make off it.
Oh, I think Max is having a stonker, isn't he? He's having a good comp. Seems to have surprised a few people with a couple of things. So, so come on, Max. Let's hold it together because you made an effort on M3.
Again, there you can see him asking the brushes to apply chalk to the brushes. So it's less that there's a build-up of chalk on the holes, and more that in the heat under the lights that they're getting sweaty and greasy on the hands. Meanwhile, F4 is a very different problem to anything the ladies had so far. It involves a bit of a triple paddle at the start. It's a 3-stage dynamic movement.
Yeah, I know when I spoke to Jan Schnoes, the route setter for these final problems, he was saying that this was definitely a pretty go-y one for the women, so good effort.
I think multiple attempts on this are just about going to be like dialing in the first 2 to make sure you get enough thrust out for the third one.
Yeah, it's hard on these volumes as well because the bright orange is a friction paint, but the black is like a gloss. So you've just got to make sure that you hit things right. Good work, Alice. She's making pretty good progress. I think she's learning a bit every single time.
Big dynamic whip out from Max there, holding the swing out on the palm and bringing it back in. He seems quite comfortable doing the dynamic stuff.
Oh, Max is a great climber outside, and you can see some of that technique and skill that he's bringing into some of these problems. Come on, Max.
Oh, big pop. He's getting closer. And so is Alice. She actually had fingers onto the third move there. I'd say she's slowly zoning in on this combination. Big wind up. Oh, there we go. Almost had that, I think. I think a touch more and she'll latch the hold on that volume. It's going to be a little bit of a whip out, but I think the hold is angled favourably to contain that and pull you back in.
Yeah, I think Alice is learning something every single time, isn't it? It's just with just under 40 seconds on the clock with her, she can just learn quick enough.
Here we go, big wind up. Bang, bang, bang. Oh,
super close.
super psyched still. She's straight back in. Max having a bit more of a rest. I suspect that penultimate is really taking it out of them, trying to get steady enough to then pull up. Perfectly happy taking the swing.
Come on, Max, as well. Got your start down.
Oh, I think Alice has maybe had too many goes in quick succession there. Yep, she's done on that.
Come on, Max.
Competitor.
Last big effort.
Great finish by Max. Great finish.
Great finish by Max.
Adjusted his beater there, didn't try and match the penultimate. He kept one hand low, give himself, I think, a better body position to wind up from underneath the top hold rather than trying to go around it from the side.
Yeah, I think Max is probably seen as a little bit of an underdog with some of the other guys that are here, but I mean, it's been a great performance for him this final. He's definitely deserves like a big round of performance from all the crowds. Great.
So next out, Zoe Petermans and Ty Tewksbury. I think I have a word with Max afterwards, because as I mentioned earlier, before the competition I was trying to G him up and say that because he came 6th last year, the only way is up from here. And he's being very, very coy and saying, oh, I could come 6th again and this sort of thing. And yeah, I think he's had a riot of a time here, smiling the whole way through, laughing.
Yeah, Max is definitely a pretty understated guy, but you know, he's a super good comp climber and he's a super good UK route setter as well. So he knows this scene better than anybody, and he knows what the deal was tonight, and he's done really well.
I think Zoe trying to potentially stop on one of the first 2 volumes there, which I think would be an impressive feat, as you said, given the angle of them and the fact you've only got partial grip. Your thumb gets nothing on that gloss.
Yeah, it's brilliant seeing Zoe and Ty. I mean, they're definitely almost like another young generation coming in. I mean, these 2 are both teenagers, and you know, are holding it with sort of like the main crowd. It's brilliant.
It's interesting to say another young generation, because Max is not exactly old.
Yeah, I know, it's funny, like, you know, like Max and Jen and Nathan, they sort of seem like a young generation even to me, and there seems to be like another line coming straight under them.
This is not to mention some of the competitors we had in the semis who didn't quite make it through the finals. We had like Tommy Matthews, Orin Coley. Again, neither of them are very old.
Yeah, I think it just shows that all the climbing walls are getting a better coaching structure in place, and they're picking up young talent early, and sort of squads are definitely moving on. And it's a great scene in the UK at the moment. It's just moving on so quick, and you know, we see that as a business as well. And you know, climbing walls opening everywhere. Come on, Ty, big move.
The second part of that combination of slamming the palm into the third of the green volumes. That looks like something you're doing under real duress, because your body is really windmilling round.
Yeah, I think some of these moves just used to be kept for World Cup competitions, and the route setters nowadays are you know, sort of able to build them into just normal national level competitions, and it's great that these guys get a chance to try these things.
Oh, time.
So get both these starts.
So I think Zoe's not fancying the triple paddle on F4 and is trying something a bit steadier, or she's just using the early goes to build up momentum and get comfortable doing the 1-2 before throwing in the third. Again, Ty looks like he's not quite getting the height you want onto the first red hold, to make sure that when he slams his arm on that third one, he's got a good lock on it. I think he's coming in with too much of a bent arm, so he's too low, and that's then not arresting the swing.
Yeah, I think he's definitely figured out what he's got to do, but he probably just doesn't get that much of a chance to practice these types of moves in your average climbing wall. So he's doing well to learn quick.
Obviously, for any high ball regulars watching out there, these problems will be up for a couple of weeks after this event. So you can try and practice this wonderful looking move if you're that way inclined. If you are that way inclined, you might want to seek help.
Yeah, I'm not sure my shoulders would want to try and practice that move.
But he's still plenty game. Getting back in as soon as he can. Zoe is now taking a radically different approach, pressing into the roof, so she's going to persist with trying to come through slowly. Oh, wonderful alpine knee there. I think I prefer that to a drop knee, so we'll take it. But I think it's not going to work for her, and she's going to have to return on the last couple of attempts to really giving it all the beans and going 1, 2, 3 across.
Yeah, so his arms are looking a little bit tired, aren't they? So she's
Yeah, I think she's
not fancying it, I don't think.
I think she's called it a day there, fair enough. I'd say that wasn't her style of route by the way she was going at it.
Hey,
Problem, I'm sorry, folks at home, I've got to stop calling these brutes. They're problems.
She did a great job on F2, and that was a pretty big roof. And you know, to have the stamina to keep going into several other problems after that, I mean, you've got to be on top of your game.
This is actually F4 is actually a shallower dyno than it was on F2, but I think the fact the holds on F2 are much more generous. So the extra jump didn't really make much matter. So Jim Pope for the boys and Jim Winnell for the ladies.
Nice to see Jim here, probably the nicest man in climbing, I think.
It's his first year here, so like I say, yeah, it's always good to add fresh faces. We do have, for the men, there's some fairly predictable faces we expect to be here, and it's good to have some mixings. All the ladies here, with the exception of Hannah Slaney, are first time to highball. Or her first time in the finals, anyway. Oh, and Jen straight away looks like she sussed the 1-2 and is very close on the 3. I don't think it'll take a lot of work for her to catch this.
Come on, Jim.
And Jim trying to pin it low there rather than the slap up to the third one. Although, obviously, you do have that slight chip on the second of the ball, the first of the hand volumes. I don't think that's going to be enough to act or to make that volume better than the high slap, which I think has a better angle. And the height, I think, gives you the straight arm you need. There we go. Jen sticks to start on F4.
Come on, Jen.
And this section here, it's not actually a hand jam, although it looks like it, because in her right hand, there is actually a small hold. I just breeze through the top section. Big ping to the finish. And top. Great work.
Great stuff by Jen. She definitely puts the effort into her climbing, and she's been on strict training programs for quite a few years now, and she's, she just seems to make headway every single season, so she's definitely having a good year this year. It's great.
I had heard it suggested that the not crack section in the middle of that route, where the zone was actually the hard bit. But I think she once she cracked the start, she was straight through.
Yeah,
no messing around.
She seemed to have pretty good flow. She's had a pretty good flow on most boulders really today and yesterday as well.
Meanwhile, Jim's still wrestling with the start section. So the Max has actually done the furthest so far on this. Made it look quite simple. Oh, there we go. Jim's adjusted his position using the higher handhold.
I think that shows how strong Jim's shoulders are. They're pretty strong shoulders.
So here we go. I think he's tried some alternative beta, but he's adjusted to using that side pull to go up into the zone left-handed. I think keeps your body in the position you want for the next move.
Really well held, Jim. Come on.
And now he's found out just how terrible that penultimate volume is.
I think he's doing pretty well bouncing between all these volumes, considering most of the summer he's been sport climbing on British limestone. So it's a big change from what he's been up to for the last few months. But I mean, he's such a strong all-round climber as well, and just a very gifted talent. And I think any of us that have been in the climbing scene for a long time have known Jim ever since he was a real youngster.
I think he's jamming to the beats there by the look of it, as he's wrestling the swing routes.
Definitely concentrating. It's quite unusual to see him without a smile on his face.
I think he's realised that once he gets to the start, there's still quite a lot of work to do. So you come at that, like I say, that big burly shoulder slam at the start, and then you've got to really concentrate through that penultimate hold. The beat goes for 1 minute left. The brush is still doing their jobs, getting in, trying to keep things as fresh as possible. All the brushes here are local volunteers.
And all using Beta Climb design brushes, so couldn't be more perfect.
Win all round, yeah. Crack team with crack gear. Yeah, that was much better, much more under control with the opening move. It didn't seem as wild, windmilling over. So this is actually the steepest section of the comp wall. The volume is helping to counteract that a little bit, but I think that side pull is doing a lot of work on the move up to the zone.
Well done, Jim, come on.
He's having a look around, he's eyeing the high foot.
Just couldn't quite find enough in him to reel it in, just to blast up to that final finishing hold. But he's still got a few seconds on the clock, so he might jump back on. And
he's going in. He's waiting last. Yeah, there we go. Again with a second to go. I think he knew by the grin on his face there that this was a bit optimistic. He was going to give it a crack anyway.
Well done, Jim Pope. Nice to see you here at Highball.
Great round of applause for him as Joni and Nathan Phillips come out to join us. Eyeing the clock up, keen to get started. There we go.
Now Joe definitely is a new youngster into the scene.
Nathan taking charge of his brushing. Wants to make sure everything is the way he wants it.
And I think Nathan's definitely been around for a little bit now after his, he's having a good season this season, especially after his World Champs. And I think things have started to fall in place for him, particularly this year. And I mean, he's always been super strong, and I think like it's just starting to work for him in competitions now as well. It's great.
Joe winding up, almost having a sort of practice go there, seeing what it felt like on the initial launch for that dyno. Nathan cranks in. Make sure he taps his foot on there for the start, for the 2 tags on the left volume. Oh, not a problem for the start.
Great stuff from Nathan. I think he knew what he was doing straight away, actually.
He's back down. He's taking a different approach, but I think he's back down to that, realising it might be a bit of on a hiding to nothing, going straight to the zone. If there are holds there, they're probably there for a reason. And a setting team like the one we've got here for this event, they're gonna know all the devious tricks, aren't they? They're a sly bunch.
Yeah, they're a good bunch. It's you know, some of the 4 of them are probably some of the best route setters in the country, and it's great having that lineup for this competition. Makes a big difference. Come on, Nathan.
Oh, nice use of foot there, sandwiching a toe between the high foot.
Oh, it's close. Oh, he's annoyed with himself there. I think he knew that he just needs to get himself set a little bit better, but he's got plenty of time on the clock, so I think he'll just have a bit of a rest for a second. And he's pretty experienced nowadays. He understands what he's doing.
I'm not going to claim to be Charles Xavier, but I think he might have been annoyed there about keeping the toe on. He almost looked like when he jumped, he almost bailed out of the finish before he got there. I suspect that keeping the toe hook in a bit rather than releasing it after he got the high foot may have pinned him back in place. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think he sort of just misread a couple of moves early on, and he probably meant by the time he got to that final setup move, he was just a little bit tighter than he wanted to be. So get everything brushed, have another little bit of a rest, and hopefully we'll see a top from Nathan.
Joe appears to be encountering similar problems to Zoe, or taking a similar approach to Zoe, in that she doesn't seem to fancy the 1-2-3 triple paddle. She's now shifted to it. Again, I'm being made to eat my words tonight by a lot of these climbers. For quite a few attempts, she's tried to match the first one of those double stack volumes. But I really don't think the angle, combined with the way the wall sort of folds in and overhangs, is going to make that possible. I think you need to have some serious grip strength and a very gentle dyno to have any hope of holding that statically.
Yeah, I think it sort of just needs pure arm power, doesn't it? And all these girls are doing amazingly well, and they're still, you know, pretty young really into the scene. And I think you can just see that some of the slightly older women, they've just had time to build that power and just had time to get that muscle endurance up a little bit more, so they've got a bit more spring in their arms. But people like Joe, I'm sure it's within their reach very soon. Here we go, Nathan's set back up again. Yep. He knows what he's doing this time.
I suspect we're going to see a slightly different approach if he gets set up on that penultimate hold. I think he's going to use the toe to get into position. I think he's already switched to a heel.
Come on, Nathan.
Up from low, he's going to go for the foot. He's going for the foot. Oh, fingertips. A great catch. He's pleased with that as well. I don't think he actually got into the back of that hold, but he got enough over the top.
No, he doesn't need much, does he? And he definitely wasn't letting go. So, good work by Nathan.
10 seconds left for Joe. Is she going to have a go? Or is she? I think she feels that she can't get through the 1, 2, 3. But again, great competitor. Good to have her here.
And you know, all credit to her coming out on a big stage with a big crowd here and some cameras around her, and you know, just performed brilliantly.
So Ida Remska and Dave Barron return to the wall. Both in pursuit of those ahead of them. I suspect Ida might be all right on this.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, I don't know much about Ida. I know that she's sort of like appeared on the scene after sort of moving from abroad and is now up in Edinburgh University. And I think you know, there's definitely a lot of respect from the other girls in the comp scene for her.
I think when you say appeared on the scene, I think tearing up the university circuit is a fair assessment.
Yeah, I think that's probably about right. Hey, Mr. Experienced himself, Dave Barron, steps on the wall.
Oh, there you go, straight through. Quick re-chalk. Again, I'm not sure whether these green volumes are mega sandpapery. So I don't know if that means that any contact with them is sort of stripping all the chalk and like top ledges skin off. But it's not perturbing Dave at all.
No, Dave seems pretty set. Can he just get sorted for this final move?
He's on the toe again.
Come on, Dave.
Here? Oh, not a bot. Oh, look at that. He feels comfortable.
Great performance by Dave. That's a really good effort to come out and flash that.
So good, in fact. We're going to return to Liam at wallside and see what he thinks.
So Dave Barron's just topped that boulder number 4. He flashed it, which I believe, if my calculations are correct, puts him tied with Nathan Phillips. We'll have to check on that result. We'll go to countbacks if that is the case. Matt Cousins will have been on the edge of his seat for a moment, because if Nathan and Dave hadn't have topped, Matt could theoretically still have won. In the women's competition, Ida Rimska is currently climbing. She still is in with a chance of winning. It's so tight in the women's comp. Ida, Hannah and Jen all very close at the moment. Jen sits in first place, and it's up to Ida and Hannah to try and beat that pressure and to come up with their goods and see if their scores go to countbacks. We need to keep our eye on the scores for that one. Quick maths, Ida cannot win now. She can come second depending on what Hannah does, but basically a podium place almost guaranteed for Ida Rimska. All the action's unfolding. Don't want to keep you guys too long, but know this rather. I will have an interview with the winners, which is almost certainly going to be Nathan Phillips and one of the other girls at the end of the competition, so do stay tuned for that.
Back in, we've still got a minute and a half left as Ida, there we go, sticks the triple paddle.
Brilliant stuff by Ida.
Oh, taking a different approach to this section though, going heel up high on the right. I suspect she may have a little fondle, then turn herself back around. Oh no, just cranked through with some massive shoulder strength.
Oh, it's great. Super strong in the shoulders with Ida.
I think from here it's all over. Great work.
Great top.
Oh, she's pleased. Again, for the second time, once the start was cracked, the competitor just flew through the top half.
Yeah, Ida just looked totally solid, didn't she? She sort of figured out what she was doing, and a great top.
I also noticed that I may well have been pronouncing her surname wrong all evening. I'm going to trust that Liam Lonsdale, being more experienced than he is getting it right, so I'll apologise to Ida myself later, but bear with me folks at home. Hannah Slaney and Matt Cousins are back out now. Our final competitors and our final problems.
So, as I said, these are the last 2 climbers.
What do you think? 2 tops?
Oh, it's got to be, isn't it? I mean, Hannah's just been climbing so well, and you know she's a junior world champs winner, and she's been sort of out and about on the comp circuit a lot in the UK. So yeah, I think let's see how she goes. She's definitely on good form at the moment.
Oh, slightly different there. Tried to match the first of the double stacked and go straight to the third one. Although I did literally have a conversation with Storm earlier saying that quality will overcome physical differences. Hannah is also reasonably tall, so she won't want to have to stretch or jump up quite as high for this opening move and just rely on the coordination going through the double stack. Yeah,
Hannah's definitely super strong on crimps and like general walls as well, and this is definitely not that. But she seemed to have a pretty good blast then. So let's see how we go.
Matt himself's having a pretty good blast.
Yeah, Matt looks like he's
comfortably, absolutely
flying. Come on, Matt Cousins.
Oh, also good. So this is going to come down to attempts, I suspect, and possibly even zones for the men. Some great success from the primary competitors.
Yeah, that didn't take Matt Cousins very long at all, but that's definitely his bag. He definitely likes all the circus acts and sort of performing problems that just suits him.
Hannah will need this to be in the running for first place. She's got plenty of time left. I'm going to stick with my early prediction. I think she'll get this.
Okay, so it's our final climber on the wall, Hannah Slaney. Come on, let's get behind Hannah. Oh!
You're dialing in and getting closer as Matt scuttled across the mat, not so subtly there.
Yeah, I think she was a little bit surprised to come off, actually.
I think what we saw with Alice at the start is, although the hold's there, I think you can still hit that hold in a way in which you don't actually get much off it, and that when the body swings out, it doesn't put the brakes on quite the way you'd like. Yeah, that time she actually missed the hold itself and went high on the volume.
Yeah, I think it's a timing thing, isn't it? If your body swings in the right position at the right time, then you can stop even without that hold. But it's definitely something to aim for.
I'd like to think it's a little bit of camaraderie and a little bit of healthy competition, but Ida's actually come out and is sitting between the front row and the mats, eagle-eyed watching Hannah here.
Yeah, all eyes on her. Even the route setters are watching intently.
Obviously, coming in with the year that Hannah's had, the route setters will have had her in mind with some of the problems, won't they?
Yeah, it's really interesting actually, like listening to them set, and they're changing around things, and they're actually talking about specific names and specific groups of people, because they know who's here, and they know what they need to do to make sure that people are divided, and they play to strengths and weaknesses all the time. Good stuff, Hannah.
So Hannah demolished out with a bit of unique beater, and now she's eyeing the top up. Easy top. Let's go down to Liam at wallside.
And so we've pretty much got our results confirmed now. I actually made a mistake before. Dave Barons will be the winner. Joint first place with Nathan Phillips, but on countbacks is in first place. Matt Cousins taking the bronze here. He goes with third place. Hannah Slaney just topped out on boulder number 4. She's going to sit in third behind Ida Riemschka in second. And of course, Jen Wood from Manchester in first. The judges are going to check over those scores before they become official, but that's how it looks now. I have to say that was a thrilling final, especially in the women's competition, coming right up to the wire. The route setters with a blinding boulder to split up that field in the very much the nick of time. Giles is going to keep talking in just a second. We're going to get the podiums. I'm going to grab the winners for an interview. Don't go anywhere.
Where are the other 3 as well? Joan, Zoe, Alice. Ladies and gentlemen, your female finalists. Round of applause, please. Thank you. And now for the males, sixth place Ty Tewksbury. 5th place Max Ayrton. 4th place Jim Pope. 3rd place Matt Cousins. 2nd place Nathan Phillips on count back to the semi-final result. So the winner for the 2nd time is Dave Barons. Ladies and gentlemen, your male finalists.
Obviously, it's great to have Jim and Ty here for the first time, and Max returning. And despite his negativity earlier, he did manage to improve 1 place. So maybe next year he'll be back and improve yet further.
Thank you.
Thanks to the Moes.